I'm really not sure how I feel about being trapped in this little box. I've been used to the freedom, being able to move around and express myself. I'm not. This isn't going to be like this the whole time, is it? No. Okay. What, a new intro as well? Hello and welcome to part one of the Bolton battle. I'm Kev, and we've got a slightly new name. You'll notice on the thumbnail it still has non-league to legend, but slightly smaller letters. So just to clarify, if you're new along, I mean basically that's the reason for the slight change. Just adjust my spectacles slightly. The reason for the slight change in title is I just wanted to make it welcoming for new people to come along. I know we're 19 years into this save now, and I didn't want anybody to feel like, oh, I can't jump in after 19 years. I'll have no idea what's going on. Well, let me put your mind at ease. I have done 18 seasons. With the Kevin Chapman manager profile. Started out in the non-leagues, made it all the way to Man City and European glory, winning the Champions League last season. But that manager is now pretty much retired. He's not going to do any more club management stuff. He is staying on as England manager for one more year in an attempt to win a World Cup. And there'll be news from him every now and again. Probably not so much when you see this pretty thumbnail. We'll go back to the old ones for when Kevin Chapman, England manager, gets involved. But this is officially the story of his son, David, who, let's start off by having a look at David. This is David, as you can see, striking resemblance to me. And he's starting off from the very bottom, the way his old man did, with Bolton. Bolton, I hear you ask, that's not particularly non-league. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is the manager profile that I've set up. I've just set the basically the presets that I can do whilst working with Bolton. I've emphasised fitness coaching for myself because, as you can see from looking at me, I am a picture of health and fitness. So I thought that was the most appropriate skill for me to be good at with coaching. Also, it can be a bit hard to find fitness coaches, I find, at this level. Although, obviously, Bolton already had one when I got to the club, and the assistant manager is a better fitness coach than me as well. So some research and thought going into that might have been good. But, you know, we'll have a fit team, if nothing else. But yeah, Bolton. It's fair to say it has not been a good 20 years for Bolton. Starting the non-league to legend save in the Championship, where they are in real life. It's kind of all gone a little bit wrong for them. Tumbling through the leagues, they got relegated into League One in the 2017-18 season, then got relegated down into League Two the following year in the 2018-19 season. Had a few seasons sort of struggling around the lower reaches of League Two, but got relegated into the conference in 2023-24, where again, a couple of seasons of mid-table battling, but ultimately led to a relegation into the Vanarama National League North in the 26-27 season, where they only managed to survive 2 seasons before being relegated out of the pyramid completely, or at least the version that's in this save, in the 28-29 season. They did come back up and have spent the last 2 years struggling in the Conference North. So finishing 21st in 2030-31 and last season finishing 14th in the 32-33 season. The main reason for it, if we have a look at how do we look at history? We're going to go into overview, and the bit we're most interested in is the financial landmarks, and it's basically the story of a really mismanaged club. So there's been 2 periods of administration and a couple of takeovers over the course of this save. They went into administration in 2018, managed to come out of it fairly quickly. There was a takeover, a consortium came in, led by the fantastically named Maximiliano Martinez. But 5 years later, they were in administration again. Managed to come out, and in 2026 new chairman Jim Davis took over, who, that's the Garfield man, is it not? So I assume this is the man who did Garfield, local businessman, Bolton local, is now the owner of the football club, has been for the last 7 years, and financially there's been no administration since. But You know, we're not flooded in money. There's a fairly decent budget, balance, for a club at this level, but the projection doesn't look good. I mean, that's a one-way ticket back into administration, really. So we need to try and turn things around, and quick. Going in our favour, we've got the fact that we still obviously have the Macron Stadium. 28,000, nearly 29,000 all-seater stadium, good condition, only built in 1997, good facilities, good training facilities. You know, we've got the infrastructure there to obviously be a championship club, because that's what Bolton are in real life. They've just fallen on hard times for the last 20 years. And I guess that's where I come in an attempt to try and turn this around. Couple of exciting positive points. Well, one mainly, if we have a look at our scouting team. How do we look at our staff? There he is. This is the man, Chief Scout Ryan Lloyd. See, this is going to be one of those times I reference back to the previous non-league to legend stuff. Ryan Lloyd, for those who've been around for a long time, was the man who I managed him at York. Sorry, my dad managed him at York. Basically stuck him on the transfer list, didn't rate him at all. Moved on from York after a year, ended up at Exeter. And Ryan Lloyd scored the goal for York that led to Exeter getting promoted out of League Two, and immediately became a non-league to legend hero. And obviously here he is, my chief scout. I want to make him my assistant manager, but he's not interested. In fact, I'll try again, but last time I offered it, doesn't even want to talk. I want to make you my assistant manager, but next time he's up for contract renewal. I mean, he's got to be the man. I mean, he's not any good. Hold on, that's the director of football. That must be, there he is, Ryan Lloyd. I mean, he's not exactly built to be an assistant manager, but I'm a sentimental man, and as a friend of my dad, I think it would only be right if we got Ryan Lloyd involved in the coaching structure at Bolton. Team-wise, if it's ever going to show us the team, I mean, it's scared to show you it, I guess. We're not exactly blessed with a wealth of talent. It is a very, very young squad. There's only, if we rank this by age, there's only, I think, one player over the age of 23 in the squad. We've got a 24-year-old keeper on trial who's just feels like an old man, so we're not going to sign him. But the only player we've got over the age of 23, Leon Scriven, who was just signed last season, can play at right back or in midfield, but he's actually not any good, so we're probably not going to use him very often. So it's a lot of youngsters, but if we sort it by ability, there is some talent. We've got a decent defender and a decent striker, which I suppose is a good starting point. There's quite a lot of potential for this level. We've got 6 or 7 5-star potential players, which is always good. The problem we've got is a lot of our better players, if we sort it by ability and sort it by potential ability, some of the better players are injured, and they're injured for a long time. Grant Cunliffe is out for the first couple of months of the season with a dislocated shoulder. He would be starting for me as an attacking midfielder, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to see him for a little while. But played the full season for Bolton last year. He's been around the club for a little while, which is good. Pierce Millington is another one who's out for a long time, 4 months. What's he done? He's got a damaged Achilles tendon. 18-year-old striker, already been given the number 9. Look at that. Loads of potential. He's played the last couple of seasons for Bolton. Bearing in mind he's only 18 now, he's already played 71 games for the club, making his debut as, I guess, a 15-year-old. So lots of future potential there for him, but obviously going to miss the first half of the season out injured. And Gary Baker as well, who's another candidate for that attacking midfield role. He's got knee tendonitis and is going to be out until Christmas as well. So not an ideal start for injuries. These were key players last season when they battled to their highest league position in like 5 years. But we'll do what we can with what we've got. Let me sort this again by position so I don't get myself all confused. This is the tactic we're going to play. And again, this might seem quite familiar to people who've been around for a little while. This is the tactic that we used with Ipswich when we got them out of the Championship and up to a second place finish in the Premier League. And it's also, well, it's a version of that anyway. There's a couple of tweaks that I'll talk you through. And it's also a version of the tactic I'm currently using with it. Sorry, my dad is currently using with England. So We know this kind of system has the potential to work, but I've had to make a couple of tweaks to it to make it a bit more suitable to the Conference North rather than the Premier League and the international scene. Most notable, I've changed 3 of the key positions and the roles that they play, because in the version we had before, this was a roaming playmaker, a trequartista and a complete forward. Did you know it's hard to find players in the Conference North who are capable of playing as a roaming playmaker or a trequartista or a complete forward? Apparently you need quite high skill levels to be able to do that, and nobody was capable of it. So we've tweaked the tactic around a little bit, so it's going to be an advanced playmaker on support on the right hand side of the midfield 3, an attacking midfielder in behind the strikers. We used attacking midfielders in that role at Man City and it seemed to work quite well, and then a good old fashioned lower leagues target man alongside a poacher up front, just to give us the option on occasion to lump the ball at his head so he can nod the ball down to these two running onto it. The other tweak that we've made is, rather than having a fluid team shape that I've always done before, we've gone structured, because we don't want to confuse their tiny little non-league brains. These are the instructions that we're doing. We're basically just looking to keep things fairly simple. We want to exploit the middle because we're not playing with any width further forward. We want the overlap because we want the fullbacks pushing on. And we want to be closing down and playing fairly narrow. So fairly basic stuff. We are going to be attack, because it's the only way I know how. And this is the team that we're going to be playing in our first game, which is at home against Tamworth. So I'll give you a bit of an introduction to these players now, and then we'll get into that game. And then going forward, as and when new players arrive in the squad, I'll give you a bit of an introduction to them, and we'll do 2 games an episode from then on, like we usually do. The other thing, I suppose, I should show you some transfers. We're certainly not done yet with the transfers. Why is that, guys? Because I was just looking. I was looking at the history. Basically, Bolton haven't paid money for a player for about 15 years. But a lot of these, I say a lot, 2 of these players came in before I did. So the only 4 players I've brought in are these 4, which I think are all in the team today. So we'll get to meet them in a minute. So all we can really do is mess around with free transfers. We're going to try and bring in some loans as well over the next couple of weeks. But if I cast my mind back to when I was in the Conference North before, I don't think we have any of these pesky transfer window things at this level. So we can sort of build the team as we go. The board expectation is just for a mid-table finish, which is what they did last year. So you'd like to think we'd be able to at least achieve that. If not, then this will be a really short series, and I'll go back to the other one and say, I'm back. It's only been 6 months, and now I'm managing Barcelona. Which, by the way, I turned down a job at Barcelona to come to Bolton because you lot told me to on Twitter. At Lollujo on Twitter, if you want to follow me on there, and influence the future direction of this save. So, our tactics, our team for today. We've got in goal David Drummond. Let's meet David Drummond. David Drummond is a 19-year-old goalkeeper with incredible hair. I mean, there's mohawks, and then there's David Drummond mohawks. Look at that. Now, I'm colourblind, but I'm fairly sure that's a bright orange. Very tall mohawk, which I've not seen in Football Manager before, and basically makes me think that he's going to be awesome. He's 19 years old, nothing to write home about on the stats, barely played for us previously. It's because our first choice keeper is out injured. First choice keeper would normally be this guy, Jordan Leach, who we'll introduce you to now because he's only got a broken finger, which apparently is a problem for goalkeepers. So probably by the next episode or the one after you'll meet him, but he's been Bolton's first choice keeper for 4 years now. I think he was the last player Bolton paid any money for at the grand old price of 1.8k. Signing him from Bolton in League One. So, you know, there's potential there for a pretty decent keeper at this level, but we don't get to have the pleasure of his company for a little while. So Drummond gets the nod today. Dion Talbot was another option because he's a hot, talented youngster. Rephrase it. He's a hot prospect, talented youngster, 17 years old, normal hair though, which really does go against him. Much more potential. It was a coin toss really, but I went for the 19-year-old rather than the 17-year-old because, you know, experience and whatnot. Back 4, Paul Johnson is our right back. He's another 19-year-old, can play at right back or left back. Looks like he's going to be a fairly decent fullback at this level, particularly because he can actually play as a fullback. Usually at this level they all want to be limited fullbacks, but he can do proper fullback, and he's got a fairly decent cross on him for this level, and this tactic does build a lot around trying to get crosses in from the fullback, so that's an important thing for him to be able to do. He's a professional individual, very one-footed, which is odd when he can play on either side at fullback, and he played most of last season with us at Bolton. Our left back is Tom Bannister, who again, has played the last couple of seasons as a regular. 23 years old. He's one that we're going to be looking to replace and or move on. He's not particularly good, but we don't have much in the way of options at left back, so we are looking at a couple of left backs to loan in, and that's going to be an immediate area where we're looking to strengthen a little bit. And then our centre backs, Chris Fletcher, 21 years old. He has again been here for the last couple of years. I mean, it's a bit worrying that our whole defence has been here for the last few years when we've been rubbish. Well, let's hope they just needed a true leader. So Chris Fletcher, learn to use the buttons. 21 years old, looks all right. Potential to be quite good, actually. So he's going to be playing alongside Kylan Kane, who's one of the players who came in just before I did. So he's a new signing, not great at the moment, but the potential to be very good. Came in from Basingstoke, where he played a full season below this level, so not really played much at this level before, although he's got a couple of League 2 and League 1 games under his belt for Milton Keynes back in his younger days. There are probably better options, and again we're looking to bring centre backs in as well to try and strengthen in that area. Our midfield, we have Tony Hodgson, who he's the main reason we switched from a roaming playmaker to an advanced playmaker, because he can't do roaming playmaker. I mean, that's what it says with all of them, but he does like to be an advanced playmaker, and he's actually pretty decent for this level. He's got a good passing on him, high flair, can hit a free kick, good first touch, vision work. I mean, he's got the potential to be a standout star of this team. He's been there for the last couple of years and not been great, although he got a few assists the season before last. His average rating's been trash though, but I'm going to suggest that's because they've been playing him wrong. He's still to refine his positional sense. Play roaming then. I mean, that basically says roaming. What's the matter with you, man? So he's going to play as our main creative force in midfield. Joel McDonald is going to be in there to kick people, but he's not that good at it. He's kind of a winger, but we haven't finished strengthening midfield yet. So we're going to look for a tough tackler. His tackling's 5. I mean, we're going to get destroyed through the middle today. Although, as a central midfielder, his preferred role is central midfielder on defend, which is why he's there. 18 years old. Come through the Bolton youth system, played a few games last year. Again, he's not been great, but needs must. We've not finished bringing players in yet, so he has to play today. And then Colin Lamb, 23 years old, proper defensive midfielder now, playing box to box. Came on a free transfer from Championship team Hull for last season. Probably would be a more logical bet for playing as a central one, but you know, I'm going to play him box to box. But in fact, no, I'm not. I mean, that's just stupid, isn't it? Let's swap those two over. Oh, goodness me, that's why I didn't. See, reasons. I knew there'd be a reason, and there you go. You've seen my thought process there. So Colin Lamb's playing box to box, but eventually we'll move into the middle, where his tough tackling will hopefully shore us up a little bit in the centre of midfield. Mason Pond, he's playing by default. We've got 2 better attacking midfielders at the club, but they're both injured. So this lad gets the nod today. He's been around for a little while at Bolton. For a chap who's only 20 years old, he's already played 54 games. Again, nothing to write home about on his ratings. We're just hoping that playing in a team, in a system that suits him a little bit more, might bring the best out of him. Otherwise, we'll be looking to move him on. And then up front, this is where the goals are going to come from. Callum Hipwell. Been around a little while, target man. I'd like to say he doesn't score many goals because he's creating loads, but he's only got 1 assist in over 100 games in his career, so that doesn't bode well, does it? But he's going to play as our target man today. I'd love him to be a complete forward, but he can't do it, which is odd when he can play as both a target man and an advanced forward. Now, I'm no footballing expert, but I would say a complete forward is probably some kind of combination between the two of them. But what do I know? He obviously can't handle doing both at the same time. But he's going to be playing today as a target man. He's certainly not going to be our first choice there, but he's the best we've got at the moment. And Chris Priest, our poacher, this is the man who's going to score all the goals for us. Signed last season, scored 9 goals in 17 games. Again, his average rating's turd, but hopefully we'll get him up above a 7 this year and start getting lots of goals from him. He kind of wants to be the target man, but we don't have a better poacher, so at the moment he's going to be there trying to push him forward to get the goals for us. Oh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Right, let's have a show of hands. How many of these players will still be in the team in 3 episodes' time? Spoiler, probably not many, because we're looking to get active. The scout Ryan Lloyd has got his scouting team out, and we're very much looking to strengthen in a lot of areas. But for now, let's go and see how we get on against Tamworth. I mean, this is going to give us a big clue for how much of a battle this save's going to be. I mean, it's a battle even getting into... There you go, Chris Priest, you can be captain. It doesn't even want to get into the game. Oh, yes, we want to proceed to... Well, we don't really. We're a bit dubious. Oh, there you go. You'll get that a little bit at the moment. Yeah, we're not doing England stuff today. Move on. Oh, Modu Fall. Do you reckon he'd want to come to... Would he want to come to Bolton? So we are actually the favourites today, which... I mean, let's have a look at Tamworth. Are they any good? Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, they're better than we are. They finished above us last year, having just come down from the Conference National the week before. How are we favourites for this game? Apparently we are. Oddly, don't recognise any of their players. There might be some that came through the Ipswich or Man City youth team. So, oh, brilliant. Liam Robinson, you're a genius, aren't you? No, has anyone got it? No, don't. No, you don't feel. No. Oh, hello. You've got some. So you're our attacking coach, and you're telling us to mark their what? Left winger. Okay, deal. Oh, hello. Well, that's not what you said, but okay, we'll do it. Okay, Jonathan Betts is our new tactical expert. Why are we asking the fitness... Oh, he's not the fitness coach, he's the assistant manager. Oops. Go on, let's see if you can manage a team talk. Let's see if you're any good at this. Inspirational. Go out there, assertively, go and impress me. An individual... Yeah, you're brilliant. Okay, we might need to learn to do team talks ourselves. Oh, hang about. Why is it... on? See, I was playing with the 3D on, but let's go back to a nice normal 2D classic mode. Why do we want to see our own formation? What kind of world is this? We want to see what Tamworth are doing. I've never set that to show us our own formation. Match stats, don't do this to me. There we go. Right, how have we already had 5 shots after the first 6 minutes? I mean, 4 of them are on target as well. Oh, hello, because we're a new manager. We've got all this nonsense as well. How do we turn all this nonsense off? Match feed settings. Do one. There we go. Don't want any of that. Don't want anyone telling us what to do. I mean, it wouldn't make me look even more of a mug when I ignore it. I just turned you off, match feed settings. Why are you still there? We've got a I tell you what, we're in. We've scored. We're 1-0 up. Chris Priest, I told you he was good. Match feed settings. Seriously, go away. There we go. I think it's because I was still clicked on. Did we even get a replay there? What is going on here? We want replays. Replays of the goals. Yeah. There we go. Right. We didn't get to see a replay of our first goal at Bolton because I don't know how to press all the buttons right. Never mind, eh? Right. Well, we're 1-0 up. That was an unexpected start to things. I think I'll celebrate with a sip of my Dr. Pepper Zero. Oh, hang about. Oh, we're in again. Priest is through. Is he going to make it 2? That's a good save from their keeper. Only just got time to have a sip. And tell you what, we're bombarding Tamworth with shots here. We've already had 9 shots and 6 of them have been on target. I mean, this is an interesting opening. Hit well. Out to McDonald. McDonald just absolutely cracks it from long range. I think that hit the crossbar. Are we not as useless as first expected? I still don't really get how we're this far down, but it's going to be fun trying to get us back up where we belong. I haven't mentioned that too much, actually. We are doing things a little bit different. That's hence the new name for the series with non-league to legend as your subtitle. I'm not planning on moving around from club to club in this save. The goal from the outset is I want to take Bolton to their highest ever league position, which I can't remember whether it was 2nd or 3rd in the Premier League, but either way, to meet that goal, basically we have to go and win the Premier League. So this is going to take a while. If we manage to avoid getting sacked this season, to get Bolton back up in the Premier League and challenging for stuff, and it's going to be good fun. It seems like it's been too long being spoilt with Premier League teams. Back down where I belong in the non-league. Right, should I be concerned that we've had 13 shots and less than half of them are on target, and we've only had 1 clear-cut chance? Probably should, but Priest is through again. Oh, for goodness sake. I mean, he's not got the best finishing, clearly. Lamb now, out to Johnson. Whip a cross in, lad. There you go. Cross comes into Hipwell. Their keeper is having a blinder. We've now had 4 clear-cut chances. Just as I was starting to moan about it, we've just created 3 really good chances in succession. And now we do need to worry a little bit that we're still only 1-0 up because we're inviting Tamworth to get back into this game, which isn't really part of the plan. But let's see what we've got in the way of substitutions. We haven't really met the substitutes yet. Let's see who we've got. Oh, of course, we're down to 5 subs again. Right, we're going to bring... This guy's a new signing. Ben Probert just came in this week on a free transfer. He can play as a target man, and I think we're going to bring him on for Hipwell and just see if that improves things a little bit. Just there. The only reason I didn't play him is because he's literally just arrived in the last couple of days. And we might bring on Mr. Experienced Leon Scriven. In fact, we might do this. Make him support and do that. I mean, I don't know if that's a stupid thing to do, but I want to do, in fact, does he bet? No, he's a winger, isn't he? Yeah, we'll do that. We don't really want to go... We'll just drop back to control. We don't want to give the game back to Tamworth too much, but when we haven't got a backup attacking midfielder, and then when we've got On's been rubbish, why not just stick an extra defensive midfielder on, just to try and shore things up a little bit. We've basically just got defenders now. So Liam Swan can play in midfield, but the midfielder will play him well. I don't want to take any of them off. We won't fiddle. There you go. That's groundbreaking for the new series. I'm only going to make 2 substitutions. There'll be an injury now, just to make sure we can't do that. But I know I on occasions can force myself into substitutions I don't need to make. There you go. People can change. I'm going full on lower league. Let's do this properly. And when we haven't got any good players, don't bring on the even worse ones that are on the bench. Priest has missed 4 clear-cut chances today. Yes, he's got a goal, but he really needs to improve his finishing if it's going to be anything but a long, hard season. Scriven with a good interception. That's what we brought him on for. And we've got a winning start. This is awesome. Go on, Robbo. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, no, they are delighted. Excellent. There we go. So, how do we see our attendance? Because I'm quite interested to see what kind of attendances we get at this level. Yeah, we'll leave the match now. That's what we did just try and do. I don't want to see Mr. England manager. Brilliant. Okay. So, England manager has to press continue before I can go in and see my own attendance, which is what I want to see. Which I guess we go on there. No, that's still the England manager. Brilliant. That's exactly what we wanted to see. There we go. Into the schedule. And click on there. Wow. Nearly 7,000 people. I mean, we should romp up to at least League 2 with that kind of attendance. And we've had a winning start. Can't really complain. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. I would love to get to over 100 likes on this. It's the first episode in what's basically a new series, even though it's kind of a continuation of the old one. Let me know in the comments what you think of the changes that have been made, whether you like the slight switch around to format and how we're looking to do things. And if you don't like it, remember, you lot told me to do this rather than going to Barcelona, so I'm taking no responsibility. And subscribe to the channel if you're new along and you've enjoyed what you've seen. This is going to be out daily, and there'll usually be 2 live comms, so don't worry yourself on that score. And thank you very much for watching.